Good morning, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you're having a pretty good day. We got some stuff to work on today. We got one car coming right now that's pretty cool. Had another guy just drop off some material deposits for a pretty neat little intake. I might film that when it's done just because the truck on that, so sick. We got some wheel hubs over here that I'm doing some wheel bearings in. I might get to that today. And then in the short term, there's a pretty little BMW out there, if it'll focus. Perhaps contrast. There we go. There we go. So we're just gonna chop the tips of the exhaust pipe back a little bit because he has some little, carbon fiber looking tips he's trying to put on there by himself really quick. It's just a buddy of mine. But this car that's on his way right now, I think Brian down at Hasport, he's the one that did, the engine swap on it. But I think he's coming to drop it off to me, and he hasn't seen the shop yet. So, better late than never. But yeah. Wait for them to get here and we'll get to cracking. I'll show you what's up and hopefully get this job done maybe today. It's going to take a little bit of time, but we'll have some fun with it. Pretty straightforward. We're doing another exhaust. I'm not going to beat around the bush. It's another stainless exhaust, but it's at least on a kind of a little bit of a different setup than I've done before. So let's see what it is. So this CRX is too stinking nice. Just beautiful. He's the original, well, I'm sorry, he's the second owner since I think 1991 or 1992. So this guy came extra prepared. It came here a few hours ago. We were working on other stuff. But he, came straight from pretty much Hasport. And, Brian did a really good job on the swap. We'll show you that once we get it inside. Yeah, and this guy hooked it up. He did, he wanted a straight, simple Ford, transaction job, whatever. So he hooked it up with, a True Bends kit and then V-bands. So he made it so I just got to basically do the work and he had everything else handled. But even the interior of this thing is just beautiful. Like full interior with the roll bar, notched the plastics for that, like the dash, everything. Just such a freaking cool car. But let's get this thing in the shop. Now it doesn't have an idler control valve right now, so it's a bit of a rough cold start, and it's open header, so. There we go. Just gotta hold the throttle a little bit. Clutch on this thing is so light. Goodness, especially for a cable to hydro. Alright, so we got this thing pulled in, got it racked up. But this is what we're here, this isn't what we're here for. We're here for building an exhaust, which, everything's over there. But look at how good this K-swap fits in here. So Brian Gillespie down at Hasport, he's the one that did the swap with the owner of the vehicle. So there's a bunch of neat little things about it that you wouldn't really notice. So, first off, like how clean this bracket is. It's holding the fuel pressure regulator and such up. Like super simple, super clean. Reusing factory brackets for like the harness loom, just like that. Like that looks nice. And, we got the little reservoir here. And, it's kind of hard to read that, but it does say coolant. And if you're wondering where the coolant overflow is, that's tucked right down in there. So a little hard to see, but you can kind of get the idea for it. There we go. Kind of, sort of, maybe. Focus. Yeah, there we go. Tucked down under there, so it's out of the way. Yeah, simple but effective intake. So hybrid cables, hybrid shifter, which, looks completely factory. Yeah, overall, just super clean swap. He is, I don't know which race group he's in, but his class is going to be Class B, and as essentially, as I understand it, he's basically trying to get 215 wheel, it's K24, ported manifold, bigger throttle body, etc., 50-degree VTC, and Type S oil pump, otherwise stock. Well, that and the 3-inch exhaust we're about to build for it. But yeah, so his race group, you know, only allows for so much power and, you know, etc. Modifications, yada, yada, yada. So he's just got like a bolt-in roll bar, full interior radio, because he's street class, I believe. So I don't even know, like street class, technically the radio doesn't have to work. You just have to have one. Kind of weird, is what it is. But yeah, no, so Brian developed the kit on this car. And I don't know, some of you old heads that might, you know, watch my videos might recognize this car to an extent. Now, I don't know for sure, I can't recall what he told me, but I think he said this car was a part of Super Street or Street Tuning magazine, something, you know, back in the day around 2000 or 2000s. And that was when Hasport did the B series setup on these cars, I think. I don't recall. Once I, you know, if I ask him and I remember, I'll put it up here on the screen basically when it was, or if I can find a screenshot of it. Yeah, so this car has just been around for quite a long time. Again, he's the original owner. He's had it for years, or second owner. He's had it for years and years, but yeah, what I mean by this guy hooked it up is normally, you know, I build everything from scratch, but this guy, you know, just wanted to make my job a little bit easier. So we've got a Flowmaster resonator. We got a MagnaFlow full-size muffler. We got some V-bands. We got high flow cat. We're making like a test pipe detachable cat section for emissions and such and track days, and True Bends kit. So the new owner at True Bends, I was told, you know, said that the kit for a second gen CRX should work pretty good. So he's kind of wanting my feedback on what needs to be changed for, you know, the K swaps in these scenarios and the exhaust, you know, how well it fits on this car, which I think is pretty cool because that means he wants to make revisions and make it, you know, more adaptable for, you know, the more modern swaps, which is going to be pretty cool. So let's get this thing up really quick and see what we're looking like underneath and how much room it is. Because remind you, this is a solid axle car, you know, torsion setup. This isn't full independent rear suspension. So let's take a look. So you can see, this is what I mean by it's not independent rear suspension. It's got this whole get up going on, the solid axle. Space-wise, though, I mean, it looks like we're working with a pretty good amount. I mean, not a whole lot to complain about here. So, yeah, the True Bends kit, I think, is supposed to go straight up over here. And I almost like this because then there's no rear subframe that you got to look out for. So there's plenty of room for, you know, piping to go over here, and you don't got to worry about contacting, you know, the spring where it's normally over here, or, you know, the sway bar, end link, or whatever. I don't know how it handles because I've never driven this type of Honda before, but yeah. So ideally, you know, the only concern is because I'm seeing now we got some brackets here and we got this piece here, you know, for fitment on the muffler. It's a little bit wider. It might be a tight fit. Might have to angle it, you know, this way, or, you know, instead of having it level like that, might have to tilt it or something, but we'll make it fit nonetheless. He did want it to come out over on the driver's side, so, you know, judging by the way this rear end looks, I'm not sure that it ever had a designated side to it since the cutout's pretty symmetrical. So yeah, I'm gonna, you know, kind of start mocking this up, playing with it, and yeah, we'll get some, you know, we'll get some shots of me doing some work, but I'm more concerned with just how sick this thing's gonna sound when we're done. So we'll see. Alright, we're making pretty good progress though. So it is currently, you know, 8:46 at night, and I goofed, so I built basically all the way up to the axle, and then I realized, wait, I have an extra piece. I forgot to put the resonator in, so I just had to tear it all apart, break it all down, grind all the tacks away, and now I just put the resonator in place. It's right before I trimmed the resonator down to make it fit better because of how short the car is. So basically all I did is shorten the one side, tucked it up so it you know, buttons up nice and tight into the car, and then had to modify this other section that I already modified. And yeah, so now we got the muffler sitting right up here. You can see it, it's on the, you know, the stand. I'm trying my best to center it, so I've got some tape marks and stuff. I'm just running on fumes right now. I've been here all day. I was doing, you know, the other stuff you saw in the video that I didn't film, you know, the BMW, the valve cover and such, so other stuff. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. So it's all tacked up. Basically where I am at right now on the control arm, you know, let me show you. This is my way of finding center for positioning this style muffler. So you can see I got the tape lines and stuff, so it's pretty darn good center. But yeah, so here's the rear axle area. I got the pipe coming up to there. You can kind of see, you know, this is slightly lower, so the way I correct that is, in this case, I would take this 90 and I would do like an angle cut like that, and it would just let me, you know, fake the funk a little bit. It's kind of weird. It is honestly kind of creepy out here, not gonna lie. But, you know, beside the point. So I'm gonna put the V-band here. I already did test the wheel, so I did put this under the wheel, and it does clear. So it's kind of, you know, weird. You can see it up there, like, it's tight. I mean, it's, you know, it's more room than normal, but the way this works, at least using this, I'm able to get this off of the lift post here before this comes close to touching. So I should be good. But yeah, so we got the one joint there, one joint there, one joint there, you know, tacked up hangers, and then that joint there. So this whole section is basically ready to be welded. I think I'm going to go ahead, add the V-band over there, and then I'm going to try and weld this whole section here before I call it a night. And then tomorrow, when Brian shows up, because he asked me to call him when I'm getting close to finishing it because he wants to film a little bit too, I'll call him after I finish this section, because then all that's left is the 90 out the back, and that'll just be easy. I don't want to stress about, you know, trying to perform on camera for somebody else's videos, because it's pressure, you know, it's fun. But yeah, so that's it. Throw a V-band up there, kind of figure that section out. I'll do that in the morning, and then, yeah, like I said, I'll try and weld this all up tonight before I head home. Okay, so we're into the next morning now. I don't know if you can kind of tell we got some daylight outside, probably not. But I got pretty good exhaust progress last night. I was here till about 10:30, so I don't know. It is what it is, but I'm just gonna, you know, eat a day-old breakfast burrito, and then I'm gonna keep on crunching away. So basically where I finished last night was the whole exhaust is welded up to the axle. So I just have the muffler sitting here on my stand, and I just gotta build up to the muffler and then just put like a 90 after it. Add a hanger, weld it up, throw a badge on it, and she's mint. So after I do the muffler, then I gotta build a test pipe really quick. That should be super fast because I just gotta throw the V-bands on like a small piece of pipe. So I'm gonna go ahead, eat really quick, and we will get cracking on finishing this up really fast. Okay, so we are pretty much coming up to the finish line here. So this is obviously where it hooks up to the V-band at the axle. We just got the last 90. It should be basically a straight shot, so I'm gonna hang this up really quick, double check that, and We're right there. We're looking pretty darn solid now. I'm trying to add the hanger, so I already welded the tip on. I did this nice angle cut because I think it looks nice. And I got this tacked up so I can go ahead and drop the rear section. I'm just trying to figure out the hanger solution. So yeah, I could use this one. I could just trim it all short and stuff. I'm just trying to make the last hanger look a little fancy because I need somewhere to put my badge, and I'd like to make a neater hanger, you know, to try and make a gusset off of to put the badge. But there's really no good way to, you know, do this hanger, so I may just have to do it like that, and then I don't know, I don't know, we'll figure it out. Worst case scenario, I just put my badge right there like I do on a lot of the exhausts I build. But I'm more concerned about the side to side movement because, you know, it's a heavier exhaust. It is actually stainless, but it's just 400 series, so it's very thick and not as, you know, fancy. Anyway, so I have those other hangers that you can bolt up. I'm just trying to think of a spot I can bolt it to. So I don't know, I'm gonna tinker with this a little bit, but yeah, really just the hanger and finish that last weld joint, and this thing's wrapped up beside the test pipe, but that'll just take a few minutes. All right, so I got the hangers all done, this rear section's all done, it's ready for just doing the test pipe, but I'm not super stoked on how this just looks, so we're gonna add a little pizzazz. I made this gusset here, and I just drilled them out, so I'm gonna go ahead and dimple die these really quick. So the first one's 1/4 inch, second one is 1/2 inch, and then we'll tack it on.
First I was impressed by this, but then I seen that. Oh.
Alright, so we're all finished up, so I have, you know, it bolted to the cat so I can let the flange, you know, weld to it, so whatever, just so I don't warp it. I've explained that before. So test pipe up top, cat pipe on the bottom. Let this finish cooling because I just finished welding it. Once it's ready, we'll bolt it up and we'll test fire it. Well, there you guys have it. Exhaust sounds pretty darn good, and I don't even really know. I mean, on camera it probably sounds a little bit different, and then of course under load it'll sound a little bit deeper, as well as when the sound packing breaks in. You know, you got to put a couple miles into it, get some heat cycling into it. But the dude is stoked on it. I already texted him. He's going to come down in a couple of days and pick it up, because then it's going straight back to Hasport from there. You know, Brian came down and got his video clips earlier this morning, so yeah, we're pretty much good to just wrap this thing up, and it's going to be cool to see this thing ripping around, and I just want to drive it. Like, I mean, it's more or less a dedicated track car that's, you know, street legal, hence the cat and, you know, emission stuff, but like, I want to rip this thing so bad. But if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. If you're new to the channel, hopefully you've considered subscribing by now. If you ever feel so, you know, inclined to support further, I do have, you know, affiliate links. You can click those, you know, buy something and kicks a few bucks my way, or I got merch in the Big Cartel, as well as a few of my metal products. And if you're local, come get something done, and we'll take care of you just like we did for this guy. Anyways, guys, do what you love, forget about the rest. Thanks for spending some time out of your day here with me, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.